The Prelude by William Wordsworth. Book 5. When contemplation, like the night calm, felt through earth and sky, spreads widely, and sends deep into the soul its tranquilizing power, even then I sometimes grieve for thee, O man, earth's paramount creature, not so much for woes that thou endurest, heavy though that weight be. Cloud-like it mounts, or touched with light divine doth melt away. But for those palms achieved through length of time, by patient exercise of study and hard thought. There it is that sadness finds its fuel. Hitherto, in progress through this verse, my mind hath looked upon the speaking face of earth and heaven as her prime teacher. Intercourse with man, established by the sovereign intellect, who through that bodily image hath diffused, as might appear to the eye of fleeting time, a deathless spirit. Thou also, man, hath wrought, for commerce of thy nature with herself, things that aspire to unconquerable life. And yet we feel, we cannot choose but feel, that they must perish. Tremblings of the heart it gives, to think that our immortal being no more shall need such garments. And yet, man, as long as he shall be the child of earth, might almost weep to have what he may lose, nor be himself extinguished, but survive, abject, depressed, forlorn, disconsolate. A thought is with me sometimes, and I say, should the whole frame of earth by inward throes be wrenched, or fire come down from far to scorch her pleasant habitations, and dry up old ocean in his bed left singed and bare, yet would the living presence still subsist, victorious, and composure would ensue, and kindlings like the morning, presage sure of day returning and of life revived. But all the meditations of mankind, ye, all the adamantine holds of truth by reason built, or passion, which itself is highest reason in a soul sublime, the consecrated works of bard and sage, sensuous or intellectual, wrought by men, twin laborers and heirs of the same hopes, where would they be? Oh, why hath not the mind some element to stamp her image on in nature somewhat nearer to her own? Why, gifted with such powers to send abroad her spirit, must it lodge in shrines so frail? One day, when from my lips a like complaint had fallen in presence of a studious friend, he, with a smile, made answer, that in truth 'twas going far to seek disquietude. But on the front of his reproof confessed that he himself had oftentimes given way to kindred hauntings. Whereupon I told that once in the stillness of a summer's noon, while I was seated in a rocky cave by the seaside, perusing, so it chanced, the famous history of the errant knight recorded by Cervantes, these same thoughts beset me, and to height unusual rose, while listlessly I sate, and, having closed the book, had turned my eyes toward the wide sea. On poetry and geometric truth, and their high privilege of lasting life, from all internal injury exempt, I mused upon these chiefly, and at length, my senses yielding to the sultry air, sleep seized me, and I passed into a dream. I saw before me stretched a boundless plain of sandy wilderness, all black and void, and as I looked around, distress and fear came creeping over me, when at my side, close at my side, an uncouth shape appeared upon a dromedary mounted high. He seemed an Arab of the Bedouin tribes. A lance he bore, and underneath one arm a stone, and in the opposite hand a shell of surpassing brightness. At the sight much I rejoiced, not doubting but a guide was present, one who, with unerring skill, would through the desert lead me. And while yet I looked and looked, self-questioned what this freight which the newcomer carried through the waste could mean, the Arab told me that the stone, to give it in the language of the dream, was Euclid's Elements, and this, said he, is something of more worth. And at the word stretched forth the shell, so beautiful in shape, in color so resplendent, and with command that I should hold it to my ear. I did so, and heard that instant in an unknown tongue, which yet I understood, articulate sounds, a loud prophetic blast of harmony, an ode in passion uttered, which foretold destruction to the children of the earth by deluge now at hand. No sooner ceased the song than the Arab, with calm look, declared that all would come to pass of which the voice had given forewarning, and that he himself was going then to bury those two books, the one that held acquaintance with the stars, and wedded soul to soul in purest bond of reason, undisturbed by space or time. The other, that was a god, ye many gods, had voices more than all the winds, with power to exhilarate the spirit, and to soothe through every clime the heart of humankind. While this was uttering, strange as it may seem, I wondered not, although I plainly saw the one to be a stone, the other a shell, nor doubted once but that they both were books, having a perfect faith in all that passed. Far stronger now grew the desire I felt to cleave unto this man. But when I prayed to share his enterprise, he hurried on, reckless of me. I followed, not unseen, for oftentimes he cast a backward look, grasping his twofold treasure. Lance in rest he rode, I keeping pace with him. And now he, to my fancy, had become the knight whose tale Cervantes tells. Yet not the knight, but was an Arab of the desert too. Of these was neither, and was both at once. His countenance meanwhile grew more disturbed, and, looking backwards when he looked, mine eyes saw, over half the wilderness diffused, a bed of glittering light. I asked the cause. "It is," said he, "the waters of the deep gathering upon us." Quickening then the pace of the unwieldy creature he bestrode, he left me. I called after him aloud. He heeded not, but, with his twofold charge still in his grasp, before me, full in view, went hurrying o'er the illimitable waste, with the fleet waters of a drowning world in chase of him. Whereat I waked in terror, and saw the sea before me, and the book in which I had been reading at my side. Full often, taking from the world of sleep this Arab phantom, which I thus beheld, this semi-Quixote, I to him have given a substance, fancied him a living man, a gentle dweller in the desert, crazed by love and feeling, and internal thought protracted among endless solitudes. Have shaped him, wandering upon this quest. Nor have I pitied him, but rather felt reverence was due to a being thus employed, and thought that, in the blind and awful lair of such a madness, reason did lie couched. Enow there are on earth to take in charge their wives, their children, and their virgin loves, or whatsoever else the heart holds dear. Enow to stir for these, ye, will I say, contemplating in soberness the approach of an event so dire, by signs in earth or heaven made manifest, that I could share that maniac's fond anxiety, and go upon like errand. Oftentimes at least me hath such strong enhancement overcome, when I have held a volume in my hand. Poor earthly casket of immortal verse, Shakespeare or Milton, laborers divine.